Phase 1. The question that changes everything. Let me ask you something. How much money do you think you spend on football in 1 year? Not just the ticket. I'm talking about everything. Your shirt, your food, your drinks, your TV subscription, your train, your away games, and maybe even a hotel. Now add all of that together, because you might be spending far more on football than you think. And today we're going to find out exactly how much. Phase 2. Following a fan through the season. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to follow a football fan through an entire season. Not a billionaire, not someone sitting in a VIP box. Just a normal supporter who genuinely wants to follow their club. We'll count the obvious costs, and then we'll uncover the ones you probably don't think about. And at the end, we're going to compare what that lifestyle can cost across Europe. And I think some of the numbers are going to surprise you. Phase 3. The price of getting through the gates. Let's start with the obvious one. The ticket. If you attend 10 home matches in a season, your tickets are already one of your biggest football expenses. But here's where things get interesting. In Germany, the Bundesliga's official average matchday ticket price for the 2025-26 season was €30.77, and a standing ticket averaged just €12.27. So if you're standing in a German stadium, your ticket can be surprisingly affordable. But compare that with some of the prices supporters face in England, and suddenly the picture changes. But here's the thing. The ticket isn't where our calculation ends. Phase 4. What really happens on match day? Because once you actually get inside the stadium, you're probably going to spend more money. You've traveled there, you're hungry, so you buy something to eat, maybe a drink, maybe you're with friends, maybe you're taking your kids. And suddenly, the €30 ticket isn't really a €30 football experience anymore. And this is exactly why we're counting the whole day, not just the seat. Phase 5. The shirt that comes every season. Then there's the shirt, you know the one, the new home kit, then maybe the away kit, and if you're really committed, your name and number on the back. One shirt doesn't sound like much, but football isn't a one-time purchase. You do it again next season, and the season after that. That's how a small expense becomes a yearly expense. Phase 6. The cost of watching from home. Now, here's where this gets really interesting. You don't even have to go to the stadium to spend money on football. You can spend it sitting on your sofa. In the UK, the 2026-27 Premier League season is split between Sky Sports and TNT Sports, with 52 matches on TNT Sports and the majority of the remaining live matches on Sky. Sky currently advertises its dedicated sports package from £22 a month. Although the actual package and contract requirements matter, and that's before you start adding other competitions or services. So think about that. You haven't bought a ticket, you haven't traveled, you haven't bought a shirt, and you're already paying just to watch. And now, we're still not finished. Phase 7. When your team plays away. What happens when your team plays away? Now you're paying for travel, train, bus, fuel, maybe parking. And if the match is far enough away, maybe a hotel. This is where following a football club becomes very different from simply watching football. Phase 8. When following becomes a commitment. Imagine you're the type of supporter who wants to go further. 3 away games, 5. Maybe your club qualifies for Europe, and suddenly you're looking at flights, hotels, food, transport, another ticket. And this is where the annual football bill can start climbing very quickly. Because now you're not just watching your club, you're following them. Phase 9. Football doesn't cost the same everywhere. And now we get to the really interesting part, because football doesn't cost the same everywhere in Europe. Germany's latest official figures show an average Bundesliga ticket of €30.77. And Germany isn't just selling cheap tickets. The Bundesliga averaged more than 41,500 spectators per match in the 2025-26 season. So here's the question. How can football attract enormous crowds while keeping average ticket prices relatively moderate? And what happens when we compare that with England, Spain, Italy, and France? Phase 10. 2 fans, 2 very different seasons. So let's stop talking about football fans as if they're all the same. We're going to create 2. Fan number 1. The regular supporter, 10 home games, 1 shirt, food and drink, television, 3 away games, normal travel. Fan number 2, the serious supporter, 19 home games, matchday spending, 1 shirt, full viewing access, 5 away games, long-distance travel, and 1 European trip. Now watch what happens to the numbers. Phase 11. Adding up the real cost. This is where we're going to reveal the actual cost. Ticket, plus food, plus shirt, plus television, plus travel, plus away games, and finally, the European trip. Add it all together, and suddenly football isn't looking like a €30 purchase anymore. It's an annual financial commitment. Phase 12. The European cost reveal. Now let's look across Europe, and this is where things get interesting. In England, following your club can already cost well over £1,000 before you even add away travel. In Germany, the average Bundesliga ticket is just over €30. And in Spain, following the biggest competitions on television can cost more than €1,000 a year. So here's the surprising part. Football doesn't have one price. Where you live and how seriously you follow your club can completely change the bill. Phase 13. The cost behind the ticket. And that's the biggest lesson. The price of football isn't just the ticket. It's the food, the shirt, the television, the journey, the away games, and then you do it all again next week. That's when football becomes a real annual expense. Phase 14. The real price of being a fan. So, how much does it really cost to be a football fan? There isn't one answer. A casual fan might spend hundreds. A regular match-going fan can easily reach 4 figures, and a serious supporter traveling regularly, the cost can climb very quickly. So don't judge football by the price of the ticket, because the ticket is only the beginning. Phase 15. Your turn. So now I'm curious, how much do you spend on football every year? £500? 1,000? 2,000? Or even more? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy seeing the real money behind the things we care about, subscribe to Every Pound and Euro. Because sometimes, the numbers tell the most interesting story.